All right, shalom, 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 Yahweh Hashem Yashai Barakatah to all the brothers. Shalom, Yahweh Shamar Alatha Ba'Hashem Yashai to all the sisters. I'm Officer 50 Zabaja of the I.S.U.P.K. under Commanding General YAHANNA. We started out 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We were established 1969. Right, with me, I got my brother, right, Officer 50 Sharyuan. So today we're going to be talking about a topic that needs to be discussed, right? And that's the feminization of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, right? And I know for most people they'll be like, well, they're not bothering me. Like if there's homosexual men in our community, they're not bothering us. Why don't you just leave them alone? Right? Well, first you have to understand that Black men being effeminate and being told it's okay to be effeminate, right? That is an attack. That is an act of war, right? So that's what we're talking about today. Feminizing the Black man, an act of war, right? That's Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Hold up 1 second. Da, 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 da. One moment. Okay. Right? So that is an attack on blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's just one of the many attacks. These attacks have been happening since we become free, so-called free. Since they basically outlawed chattel slavery, right? They didn't outlaw slavery. They just outlawed us being on plantations and not thinking that we're free, right? So we still are slaves, right? We still have to beg for every little thing that we want in our oppressor's kingdom. We want a house, we got to get it. We got to get it from him. We want to travel back to where our family lives, whether it be in the Caribbean or in the South Americas, right? To go anywhere in the world, you need your walking papers, right? So what we're talking about today is how being a homosexual, being an effeminate Black man, being a sister that's not feminine, is something that is terrible for our community, right? When an effeminate brother is not strong, right? Likewise, a sister that doesn't act feminine, she's not strong either, right? Neither of them are strong, right? They both fall under the pressure of Blacks, Hispanics, and Native, not Salakia. They both fall under the pressure of our oppressors, right? They fold under that pressure, right? A sister, she's not strong enough to, when she's not being feminine, she's not strong enough to be a good wife, a good mother, a good sister in our household, right? Especially being a good wife to a masculine warrior like man, right? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we are warriors, right? We are the warriors of the Lord, the Lord's battle axe, right? We are the Israelites, and we became a nation through war. We got our lands through war, right? A sister not being feminine to her husband is the opposite of making the marriage work, right? That man is a warrior. He goes outside, he battles every day that he gets up and goes outside, He comes inside. He's not expecting a battle in his own home. He's not expecting to have to fight another enemy in his own home. He has to go outside and he has to provide for his family. He has to love that sister. He has to protect her and guide her. He has to go outside and wake up his people and lead his people, right? And then he comes home and has to fight another fight. That's not helping. That only destroys the community more, right? So what we're talking about today is how when black men are effeminate, the community suffers, right? So many terrible things have happened because black men are effeminate, right? And in in the 60s and around the 70s, they were killing black, Hispanic, and Native American men with heroin. In in the 80s, it was crack cocaine, right? In the 90s, it was still crack cocaine, but that along with it, there was a new element, right? There was two new elements. There was there was mass incarceration in the 90s and throughout the 80s, right? So this targeting of black men for incarceration, it's been around since we walked off the plantation, but they really started to target us with the drugs and the jails in around the 80s to the 90s, right? And also the we had a civil rights movement, and homosexual Edomites, homosexual white men, and other nations that were homosexual, they jumped on the bandwagon of our civil rights. Right? Our civil rights paved the way for homosexuals to now say they want rights to be married. Right? Before they would just hide in the closet and they would act masculine and do all the ungodly things they would do on a low. Right? That's why in the black community we say down low,
Right.
right? So you go well, not as much. I was gonna say you go to Atlanta, right, and you'll see you brothers would be on the down low, but now now you know who exactly is the homosexuals in the community. They're dressing like the sisters, acting like the sisters, switching their hips like sisters, right? A totally disgusting act, right? So we went from heroin to crack to jail, right? And along with that jail, homosexuality creeped its way in,
Right.
right? And now that's all you see. So we're gonna for lack of better words, we're gonna touch on a few subjects today, right? So the first that Officer Shaw, you want, can you bring up that precept for me?
Come on. This is the book of Mark, chapter 3 and verse 27. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house.
Right? So no man can destroy the black community. No nation can destroy the black community without first destroying the strong toxic masculinity within the black community, right? So first they have to destroy that toxic masculinity in the black community, right? And after that, you could brainwash boys into being girls. You could tell sisters that you don't have to listen to your husband. You're the man of the house, right? You can kick him out. You don't, and if he doesn't want to listen to you, you you take half his things, right? Put him out, burn his clothes, destroy his car, and that's what the world is teaching our sisters to do, right? That man has another woman, or he's not doing the things you want to do. He's not buying you Valentine's Day gifts. He's not buying you birthday presents or Christmas presents, or he's not letting you wear the clothes that you want to wear, right? That revealing traffic stopping clothes, right? Sisters, you know what I'm talking about. The sisters sometimes, and this is not the sisters in the school, right? But sisters in the world, you wear clothes you wear the clothes that will give heart attacks to a weak brother.
All right.
You wear that mini skirt with nothing under it. The Your rear end is hanging all out. You wear the crop tops, exposing your navels, right, to show off your belly button piercing, right? You wear, what else do sisters wear? Just anything that will cause a car wreck, right? That will have a brother driving down the street, see that sister, and he turns his head, boom, because he wasn't looking, that he ran through a red light and he got T-boned, right? And our sisters should not be dressing like that, right? And because there's no strong black men in the ghettos, right? Because there's no strong toxic masculinity men in the Black, Hispanic, and Native American community, our sisters are just running wild, right? And when a sister runs wild and she doesn't have a man to watch over her, she runs the house, right? When the house is ran by the woman, the son doesn't know what it's like to see a strong black man. He doesn't. There's no fear in that child now, because his mom, she's just gonna hit him until she hits him, and at that point, her those hits stop to her. Around the ages of 12, 13, you might think that spanking your child is actually hurting him. He's not. He's building a tolerance. He's been building a tolerance for those hits since he was 3,
All right.
since the time you kicked his father out the house, right? He wanted his father. There was no more bass in the voice in the house. There was no bass in the house no more, right? Just soft, effeminate, ratchet voices, right? Sometimes the voice is soft and feminine, sometimes and feminine. Sometimes the voice is a ratchet dragon, telling that boy, you are just like your father,
All right.
right? When that happens, these boys, they don't want to be no more, right? And at that point, the white man becomes his father, and the white man is a sexual deviant. He does whatever he wants to whoever he wants to. If if it goes bad, the white man will stick his rod in it, right? Like so. Officer Shaw, can you read that one more time for me, Baba Shah?
Con. Verse 27. No man can enter into a strong man's house and spoil his goods, except he will first bind the strong man, and then he will spoil his house.
Right? So once our oppressors bind the strong man with the drugs, right? Once they get every single brother addicted to crack cocaine, then they can come in, and now the black man's not the father, but the white man's the father in the house. Right? So before we get more into it, the water for everybody watching, right? Like and share this class. Uh, Drop any comments you got in the chat. You got any questions on the subject? Drop any questions you have in the chat. Like and share and subscribe to this video on all social media, right? Also tonight at 9 p.m. we have Commanding General YAHANNA. He'll be cutting off the heads of the Proud Boys one more time, right? So it'll round 2. Sometimes you you sometimes you knock a man down and he just decides to stand back up, right? Right. So the Proud Boys, they already got knocked out. The 10 count already happened. 1, 2, 3, all the way to 10. The match was over,
Right.
right? They want round 2. They just don't know when to heal, right? So General Yohanna and the heavy hitters are going to be beating up on them again. They're going to beat them to a pulp, break a couple ribs. So tonight on Commanding General Yohanna, go watch it, 9 p.m. It starts in about 20 minutes. I can't wait to go watch it. I'm gonna try to, after this class, watch the rest of it live and then pull it right back up. The great thing about YouTube, you could always pull it right back up, so you can always come back to this class, right? Uh, what else, right? So again, to take over the black community, the Hispanic and Native American community, they had to destroy us, right? And now they're not just destroying us, like they have like, our oppressors have a whole chamber of war, right? Like the Wu-Tang has 36 chambers, our oppressor has a whole chamber of war tactics, right? And this is, making black men gay is just one of their war tactics. Making black men gay, right? Homosexuals, right? Making them like the men in the IUIC is that is an attack on black people. Once you get rid of the strong masculine warrior in the black house, you can now go and tell the sisters, okay, go to church and listen to the pastor, our agent, our effeminate black men that we've hired to sell you down the river, and the pastor is going to tell you it's okay to kill your child while it's still in the womb, right? And Salakia, when our sisters, I know I'm harping on the sisters at the moment, but it's all relative. When a sister doesn't have a head, she she loses it, right? She sisters Some sisters are good at rearing up children by themselves. Others aren't really so much, right? And if you don't believe me, just go ask many of the black men sitting in jail behind bars in the Guantanamo South, in your Beaver Creek, in your Millhaven, in your Joyceville, and all your federal penitentiaries, who are doing a deuce plus to 25 years, right? Either for selling drugs, for selling sisters, for murdering their own people, right? And oh my, majority of them are murdering their own people, right? When they're not murdering their own people, they're out selling drugs, and it's just a terrible thing that's happening, right? So a a black man, if he's raised by just his mother alone, he's gonna see her bug out sometimes, because it's hard to raise a young black man in this slavery. And if you have two young black men in that house, and girls, and bills to pay, and your job sucks, and the racist white man at your job keeps trying to advance sexually towards you, or he's putting you down and you didn't get that promotion, you're probably gonna bug out. He's gonna have to deal with a lot of emotion in that house, right? And a lot of times his role model is his mother, because the black man is not in the house, because the black man was out selling dope, right? That the white man gave him, right? And then the white man came and locked him up. So now he's not in his house. So Salakia, Officer Shariwan, can you get me First Corinthians 11:3?
Okay.
And there's a hierarchy to to the black house, to the Native American house, to the Hispanic house. There is a hierarchy, right? And that hierarchy starts with the Lord, right? From the Lord down to the children, right? And we're gonna read that hierarchy of the black house, right? So the Lord, he runs everything, but the black man, he runs his house. He's the king of his house, or the prince of his house, right? He sets order. He's supposed to fight to the death to protect his family, right? An effeminate brother is not gonna fight to the death to protect anything. He won't even protect his manhood. How's he gonna fight to the death to protect his peoples? Salakia, Officer Shaiwan, you can read it whenever you got it.
Khan, no sweat. This is the book of First Corinthians, chapter 11 and verse 3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is the man.
Right? So hold that right there. Hold up 1 second, I'm gonna catch up with you. Right? But uh da, 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 right? So the head of every man is Christ, right? So now we're getting into this hierarchy, right? The head of every man is Christ, Yahushai in the Hebrew, right? He, that man is he runs his house because his head is Christ. It didn't say the head of every man is Keisha, right? Right? The sister is not the head of the man. Even though some sisters try to be the head of that man, they try to run their man's head. Right? That's an old Benjamite saying, where the woman is running his head. You see brothers who, damn, that brother he was fly, he was handsome, he had the whole world going for him. But then one day he got that sister, right? That brother comes out, he doesn't walk with his back straight up no more. He's starting to go bald. His hair is going gray. That's because he's living at home with a dragon, right? He has a sister who's trying to be his head, right? But he's a masculine brother, so eventually he can't take it no more, and because he's in the world, he's going to leave. Baba Kashar, can you read some more?
Khan. And the head of Christ is God.
Right? So it's letting you know that the head of man, that the head of every man is Christ, and the head of the woman is her man. The person she's laying down with in the bed at night, that is her head, right? Sisters, you have to choose wisely when it comes to your man. You have to choose wisely. You can't just see, oh, what's that, a Beamer? Damn, he drives a Benz. I need that. Oh, he's in that brand new Dior. I need him, and he only wants you for about 15 minutes. He gets his rocks off, and then he's gone. On to the next one, right? So, sisters, so the man that you lay down with, that is your husband. That is your head, right? That man's head is Christ. Christ's head is God. Salakia, what were you saying?
Khan and Slacky, I just wanted to add, if I may, there's
God.
such an attack on our women. You know, all the women from the nation of the 12 tribes of Israel, is they have no problem going to work and taking orders from their boss. You know what I
Right.
mean? They don't have a problem with taking order. They have a problem with the image that this kingdom is painting of the black man, right? And it's the same thing that that was happening in the Garden of Eden with Eve, right? Like that snake, that serpent, he understood. You know what I mean? To go after the weaker vessel. And for a woman, if you're stepping outside of your protection, you know what I mean? Like you got a lot of shame that's gonna come your way. You got a lot of heartache that's gonna come your way, right? Like in order to lead our kids, as Officers of the Body is saying, in order to lead them, in order to teach them, we have to take order. You know what I mean?
Right.
A good somebody who follows order. And when we read these scriptures, like as a man, like we gotta follow orders, right? And that's how we're able to lead our family as well. When Yahweh tells Christ to do something, Christ does it. When Christ tells a
Right.
man to do something, he does it. When a man
Right.
tells his wife to do something, she does it. You know what I mean? Like that's good leadership. That's good order. That's how we stay protected. You know what I mean? And Salaki, that's all I wanted to say.
Nah. That was on point. Like just like we were breaking down today on the Sabbath in the Sabbath service, order. You gotta follow order. The Most High gives you an order. You gotta follow that. The Most High gave orders to not to be an effeminate brother, right?
Right.
That's an order you gotta follow. We're gonna get into that though. Quick little roll call. Shalom, Gary. Shalom. Shalom, brother. The water for tuning in. Like, subscribe, and share to this channel. Baba Kashan for anybody watching. You got any questions or any comments, just throw them in the chat. So again, shalom, brother Gary. The water for tuning in. Right. So as we were saying, you got to be strong. If you're not strong, you're gonna be taken out of your house. Your woman's gonna run over you. Your son, he's gonna be down the street with a glass pipe in his mouth or another pipe in his mouth. It's just that simple. It happens, like, right? In the I.S.U.P.K, we don't have that fear. We don't have that worry, right? We're raising up strong black men and strong feminine sisters, right? The world will tell you that your sister cannot be feminine and strong. The Feast of Purim will tell you different. Esther was a strong feminine sister, right? When it came to her turn to put in that work for her people, she 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 held it all together. She didn't break. She didn't crack. She didn't turn around and say, "Nah, this is too hard. I'd rather twerk." Right? So what another Salaki, where are we gonna go now? I got some things that we got a couple of visuals for you for the class. Let me just get them in order. Officer Shaywan, can you get me Ecclesiasticus 30 and verse 7, Baba Kasha?
Huh.
30 and verse 7. This is gonna help us with how what you do for your child, right? What you do for your son to this is how you're supposed to raise your son where he's not gonna be weak. He's not gonna bring shame to your family name. Salakia, let me just find these things right quick. Um, one moment, bear with me one moment. All right, so we're back, right? So when you're raising your son, you don't wanna coddle your son. You don't wanna every time he falls, you run over to pick him up. Let that boy get his scratches. Let him get his bumps and bruises. Let him ride his bike with no training wheels, right? As he thinks he can ride it, right? Put those knee pads and those helmets and the things that are going to protect him, but let him be that man. Let not man, but let him be that boy, so he can be that rough boy, and he'll go into he'll go into manhood not being afraid, right? It's like lions, like, right? The Judites are lions, the Benjamites are wolves. You see some wolves, the cubs, they the male cubs, they all fight each other,
Right.
right? They wrestle with each other. Brothers in a house, they wrestle with each other, right? They slap box, and you see this in every and damn near in every ghetto you could think of, where sometimes the men, they'll just have a slap boxing competition. They'll just get some boxing gloves and throw them on and start hitting each other.
Right.
Right? That's the masculine spirit in them. That's the go to war spirit, right? And it's something that will make you stronger, right? It's like Hebrew Academy. I pray that myself and all my brothers, we get to experience what it's like to go through Hebrew Academy, right? That is not for the weak, right? You are going to be pushed into the ground. You are going to be dragged through the mud, right? It's going to be a test of discipline and endurance, right? So you don't want to coddle your male child, right? If you can, Baba Kasha, can you read Ecclesiasticus 30:7?
Come. This is the book of Ecclesiasticus, chapter 30 and verse 7. He that maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wounds,
Read.
and his bowels will be troubled at every cry.
Right. So read that one more time, and we're gonna break it down.
Verse 7. He that maketh too much of his son shall bind up his wounds.
Right. So when you make too much of your son, it's you have that you have like sisters do this a lot, right? There are some brothers who do it as well, where again they see their child, he gets one little scratch, and your whole world comes crashing down. You get that butterfly feeling in your stomach, where you think that he's going to basically be like, that's gonna harm him. That's gonna stop him from growing, right? So they coddle that child. They cuddle him and coddle him to a point where he just knows as soon as he says whack, he says I can't do it, that you're gonna do it for him, right?
Right.
When you have your son and you tell him to wash the dishes and he's not doing it properly, the first instinct is to to grab a few of the dishes and do it for him and show him how to do it, right? But you already showed him how to wash the dishes because he knows how to do it. He just doesn't want to do it because he knows that as soon as he starts whining and crying, you are going to take it over and do it for him, right? And that's not what this is, right? So read it one more time, Baba Kasha.
Right. Verse 7. He that maketh too much of his son shall
So
bind up his wounds.
Khan, you think that you make too much of your son. You coddle him. You rush to pick him up every time, right? He knows eventually children are smart. Like children, the children right now, they're smarter than the children before, right? Like the technology is making them, they know how to use. You have a problem with your cell phone, go give it to your 6-year old. She'll tell you what to do with it. She'll tell you
Okay.
exactly what to do with it. You'd be like, nah, dada, you don't do that. You do this, and this. And you're like, oh, snap, it was muted before. How is it not muted? Right? These children are smart. They know that if you turn around and you pick them up every time they mess up, every time it seems hard, every time they get a little cut, a little scratch, or they bump their elbow, or a tear comes down their eyes, they know you're gonna pick them up forever. That translates into adulthood, right?
Right.
Men don't. So there's a type of man out there that he doesn't want to do anything because his mama did everything for him. His daddy was in jail or he was murdered, especially in the Black Hispanic community. His dad was either murdered before his dad got to 32, before his dad could teach him how to walk, throw a ball, or tie his shoe. His dad was shot over some female he was sleeping with, over some drug deal gone wrong. over some rivalry that means nothing compared to who our real enemy is, right? And he knows that he cries. All he has to do is cry. His mom is gonna come. Mama, I don't have the rent. She's gonna give him half of the money that she doesn't have anyways, right? Brother Shah, can you keep reading?
Con. And his bowels will be troubled at every cry.
Right? So a father who coddles his son too much, every time his son cries, he's going to rush to pick him up, right? His stomach is gonna have the butterfly effect. It's gonna every time his son says it's too hard, his stomach's gonna tie up in knots, and he's gonna rush over to help his son to do it for him, which is making him weak, right? But that's not what we do in the UPK. In the UPK, we train our children to be strong, to be disciplined. We train them to follow orders, right? The Lord gave Abraham orders and he followed it. The Lord gave Moses orders and he followed it. The Lord gave Abraham orders and Abraham obeyed it to the point where he was going to sacrifice his son, right? Baba Kashah, can you read verse 8?
Con. Verse 8. And horse not broken becometh headstrong,
Right?
and a child.
Salaki, right there. Hold it right there. What is can you break that part down for me?
Con. Um, Basically, if you don't, so what it's saying right here, it's giving a parable to what will happen to your child, um, if you leave him to his own devices, right? If you don't stay on that child, if you don't stay on him, correct him, um, he will become willful. You know what I mean? He'll do his own thing. He'll become headstrong, right? Just as a horse would, um, just as a horse would if you don't tame him.
Right. That's exactly what that is talking about, right? You don't tame a horse. You find a horse in the wild and try to jump on its back. Try to saddle a horse that's from the wild. It is not going to happen, right? You try to do that and you're gonna quickly find out that it's not it's definitely not something you want to do. Right? A wild horse is going to throw its like, or not its owner because it's wild. A wild horse though is going to it's not gonna let a man sit back and ride it and tell it where to go. It's not gonna let a man put his foot in its mouth. Salaki, am I breaking up? Salaki, can you hear me?
Khan, I can hear.
Okay. Nah, just my Wi-Fi looked like it was acting up real quick. Right? So a wild horse is it's gonna buck everywhere. It's gonna do what it wants, right? If your child is a wild horse, you can't tell your child what to do. You're gonna tell that child come in at 9 p.m. It's not going to, right? You're gonna say,
Right.
listen, you have a curfew. After school, you're gonna go to the rec center. You're gonna play basketball. Then you're gonna come in and you gotta be inside by 8:30, right? And your homework has to be done before the night's over, right? You're gonna be sitting up at 10:30. That child's not gonna be home. At 10:45, you're gonna be putting on your shoes to go look for the child because you're so angry that you want to kill him, right? That
Right.
child seeing that anger the whole time, That's why it's seen that emotion and that bursting emotion the whole time. It does not want to listen to you. That child is not going to listen to you. Right? So read Baruch Kashar. Where were we? Was that the end of verse 8?
Allah.
Read it one more time from the top, Baruch Kashar.
Khan. Verse 8. And a horse not broken becometh headstrong, and a child left to himself will be willful.
Right? So a wild horse and a child is damn near one and the same. They're headstrong. They want to do what they want to do. You tell a child, don't. Every parent has gone through that. If you're not a parent, you're an uncle or aunt. You've gone through it. You told your child or your niece or your nephew, do not do that. Just chill. It's all good. You don't have to do that. Don't touch it. You walk away for 5 minutes and you hear crash. And now you're like, what the hell was that? What crash? You walk back into the living room where you told your child to sit on the couch and wait for 5 minutes and watch these cartoons. And you look in the living room, your child is not on the couch, it's on the other side of the living room, and it's just looking at the vase that it broke. And you're wondering, why is my vase broken? And you want your child to just chill on the couch and watch TV. Play with your tablet you love so much. Right? And again, children don't do that. If you don't discipline your child is going to do whatever he wants to do. Right? Because they don't the children are not disciplined, the child just does what it wants to do. Right? Read verse 9.
Khan. Conquer thy child. Salakia. Verse 9. Conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid.
Right? So conquer your child. Right? And read it one more time.
Khan. Conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid.
Right? So if you conquer your child is gonna make you afraid, meaning your child is not gonna listen to you. Your child is gonna make you Salakia. Right? You gotta get your child in order. When you're not getting your child in order, you're gonna end up being afraid of him, right? You play with your child too much, it's not gonna take you serious when it's time, right? If you anybody who has children, you know you could play with the child so much in a day, and then there's that like you were playing for 8 hours with that child. It was all fun. You guys had a really good day. You went to the park, ran up and down. You went swimming. You did all the things that a child wants to do in a day to have a good childhood, right? It just had a wonderful day. There's that 5 minutes in the day when you're trying to make dinner for that child, right? Or lunch. Stop doing this. Stop. And the child still wants to play, but you're telling this child to stop. It's not going to listen because he doesn't know when you're serious, right? Now you're afraid of your child. Now you're afraid for your child because you think that every time you do something or every time that this child can't be on its own now because he is just going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Baba Kashab, can you keep reading?
Khan. Play with him, and he will bring thee to heaviness.
Right? So you play with your child too much, and again, he's gonna bring you to heaviness where it's like now because he wasn't disciplined and the child wasn't able to follow orders, you just don't know what to do. Right? So Baba
Right.
Kasha, Salaki, give me 1 moment, I'll be right back. If you can, you could get Leviticus 18 and 22, and you could read it and give it a quick breakdown. I'll be right back.
God, no sweat. God, so Salakia. So yeah, just as Officer Zabadi was bringing out, don't joke around with your child when you should be serious with him. You know what I mean? These children, they're young, they're precious. You know what I mean? We got to lead them and teach them to be children of the Most High, right? So train up your child in the way of the Lord so he won't depart when he's older. You know what I mean? We got to stay on these kids. We got to discipline them so that they become righteous men and women. Well, Salakia, let's get to Leviticus chapter 18 and verse 20. Salakia, what verse was that?
I was asking for Leviticus 18:22.
22, Salakia. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 18 and verse 22. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is
Right,
abomination.
right. So hold that right there, right? You can't be a homosexual, right? Our oppressors push homosexuality on us because they know we are the children of Israel. They know that if they keep us in sin, it's gonna be a little while longer. They get to keep their kingdom. The Lord is gonna come back and punish them for their crimes, right? And our oppressors, they're just homosexual. They just have a homosexual spirit. That's why we brought this out a while back, Salakia. Everybody who works with the Edomite knows. Now I don't know what it's like for the sisters and what kind of jokes the female Edomites, those daughters of Edom, I don't know what type of jokes they tell, but every male that is the Edom, they have an arsenal of 2 million gay jokes. Like they have it broken down in categories. They it's just gay joke after gay joke after gay joke. Like that's their entertainment. That's their funny. Rocky, Aki, you were saying something?
Salakia, yeah, just to add on, I know I worked a couple of jobs, but right now I work in construction, and there's something wrong with these people, man. like, like
Right.
it is Sodom and Gomorrah. The, everywhere you go in a new construction site, like before the walls are painted, inside the stalls, the washroom stalls and stuff like that.
Oh man.
Like it is nothing but gay joke after gay joke after gay joke. Like you would damn near think everybody on site is gay.
Man,
So,
you are not lying. Like Salakia, like for real, like it's just they. I don't know where they come up with them. It's like they go home and they have a conference. It's like they do major councils in the nighttime on what gay jokes they're bringing out tonight, who gets to bring out what. It's just nothing. Like you go into that construction porta potty and there's
right,
rods on the wall in a construction porta potty. Now, if you know anything about
everywhere.
construction porta potties, they come like that. I think that they like someone whoever builds the construction porta potty, they know it's going to a construction site, so they draw the rods in it before it gets used for the first time. Like I don't understand, right?
Yeah.
Who has time to stand in a porta potty and draw a rod,
So
right?
look,
You
that's exactly what they're doing. That's what I'm saying. Something's off with them. You're going to the bathroom and you're thinking about drawing a man's right? It's pornography. Salakia, Salakia for cutting you
God,
off.
God, no sweat, no sweat. It's definitely true. You would think they'd be drawing a female box or the to say it in you would think they're drawing female breasts. You would think that you go into a porta potty and you're gonna see on the porta potty a silhouette of some hips, the box, the breast, like the female anatomy. That's not what you see,
Right,
right? And they don't even draw the rod going into the female anatomy. They just draw the rod. Like
right,
our oppressors, man. They have a really, really, really gay spirit, right? Baba Kasha, can you get me Deuteronomy 22 and 5, right? So we're gonna look through some couple pictures, right? So again, being effemination, Salakia, feminizing the black man is an act of war, right? The A black man does not run Hollywood. Wherever you go in Hollywood, whatever show you watch, it is one of the scenes is going to be gay, right? It's to a point now where there were two shows that I watched when I was first coming into the truth, right? There was only two shows that I watched, right? One was one was Power. The next was what was the other show? It might have been I think it was one of those YouTube series that I was watching. Like there's a few brothers, a few Judite brothers from New York. They have a few YouTube series where it's like it's black, it's hood shit. Like that's the easiest way to say it. Like it's a YouTube series, right? So it's about crime, drugs, things that's going on in the black community, right? On Power, the last season, they put Mary J. Blige in the show. She is not a good actor, right? Mary J. Blige is supposed to be a masculine. She's supposed to be like the Don Diva of the drug trade because she's taking it over for her husband, right? That's more something you would hear out of. That's something you would more expect to see the Italians doing, right? The Italian boss, mob boss, he gets locked up and the wife takes over, right? But they made Mary J. Blige. She's supposed to be the man of the house, right? Her son, on the other hand, he's effeminate. He's full blown. He's a fudge packer, right? Full blown fudge packer. And this is supposed to be the gangster show for the black community, right? They did it with another show that I used to watch, The Wire, right? Where they made the number one gangster in the show a homosexual, and everybody ran from this man. Like it was basically saying that the black man is weak and he's only strong when he's a homosexual. Like this, there's a scene in that show where the man walks down the street in a silk robe. In a silk robe, he runs to the trap house and he stands outside and he says, just drop it right now or I'm coming inside. Everybody's afraid of him. The whole street. It's like one of those westerns when they see the bad guy coming in. You hear the music, you hear the wang, and then you Salakia. Everybody clears out. That's what was happening in this show. They made it where the man is the homosexual man. He's the villain. He's the man to be feared, right? They're doing the same thing with Power right now, where they're gonna make it that the son that's gay, he's gonna come out to be the boss, right?
right,
So the whole point was Hollywood makes everything for Black Hispanics and Native Americans to either be whores, drug dealers, killers, or effeminate, and that's what they do, right? So Slovakia, 1 second. Can you read, Baba Kishar, can you read Deuteronomy for me?
God. This is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22 and verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all
Right?
that
So
so
right, so the women, fake Israelites want to use this to say, Slovakia, I'll just find it. Fake Israelites want to use this to say our sisters should not wear pants, right? Which makes no sense because they make pants for women, right? Fake Israelites want to use this so they can hurt sisters. They want to they want to make it where sister can't be feminine, right? Now, there's nothing wrong with a sister wearing a long, beautiful dress. At the same time, there's nothing wrong with a sister wearing pants that are made for a sister. 1 moment, I got a picture for you, right? So there's a, I believe this is a Judite brother. I'm not sure, but he's definitely an Israelite, right? Salakia. If you got a weak stomach, look away because this made me sick the first time I saw it, and because it's the class, we got to bring this out. Hold up. Right, so read that one more time, Baba Kasha.
God. Verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For
Right,
all that
so
do so,
continue reading, Salakia.
God. For all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God.
Right, that it makes you an abomination unto the Lord to be putting on a female garment. Right, you were born with testicles and not ovaries. You should not be in a dress. Dresses are for ovaries. If you don't have ovaries, get your black behind out of that dress. Right, get in the Israelite school of universal and practical knowledge. Right, 1 second. Slovakia. I'm trying to find a better picture. Okay, maybe this might work. We'll see. All right, so what we got is, wait 1 second. One. Let me get rid of this one. Right, I'm not sure if everybody could see this. Right, that right there. Hold up. That right there is a brother. Right, that is not a sister. That's a brother. He's wearing a dress. Akia. Right? So this brother is wearing a dress right now. He's not supposed to be wearing a dress. He's at a Hollywood award show, right? And you can best believe that every Edomite who's seen this, they seen this and they're like, "Oh wow, this is the best thing ever." Right?
Right.
This is a true black man, and that's what these Edomites push towards us. They make it seem like we're supposed to be in a dress.
Right.
Okay. Can you read that last part again, Baba Kasha?
Con. Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment,
Right?
for all
Neither
that
shall a man
whoso
put. So, throughout a D for letting me know y'all can see. If y'all can see, just let me know. Again, if you have any questions or comments, just type them in the chat. Right? So neither shall a man put on a woman's garments. Right? This man has on a dress. He thinks he's a sister. This man is basically telling all sisters, sisters ain't shit. Salakia, excuse my French. This is what he's telling this sister. Y'all ain't shit. I can rock your dress better than you can. I can switch my hips better than you can. Right? This man is sick. He needs he needs to he needs to fight his demons, the demons that are on him.
right.
Right? Let's just get rid of that because it's about to make me throw it's about to make me throw up. Salakia,
Con
like
select.
those are hard images to look at. Salati, what were you saying, Doc?
Con, that's it. It's hard to see how brothers carry themselves like that. You know what I
Right.
mean?
It's definitely hard, man. Like it's a terrible thing to see. It hurts to see the black men so weak, so beaten down. Shalom, shalom, sis. Yahweh Shema Alathaba Shem Yahweh Shai. Right? We got a new sister in the school. Right? Big up that sister. Salakia. So again, like it's definitely a hard thing to watch. Like to see our black men just being so weak to the point where it's like, how are you gonna fight oppression? How are you gonna fight your people rocking that dress?
Right.
Right? What are you gonna teach the young black males? How can you teach a man to be a man when you want to be a woman? Right? And here's the crazy part now. That same that same man that's in that dress, he'll go up on TV and say, "You have to accept me because I'm black." He can't accept that he was born with testicles. It doesn't
Right.
compute. It doesn't make sense. Salakia, can you read that one more time? Salakia, no, La'a. Can you jump back to Leviticus 18:22?
Con. This is the book of Leviticus, chapter 18 and verse 22. Thou shalt not lie with mankind as with womankind. It is abomination.
Right. So that's basically letting you know it's an abomination to be a homosexual. Right. A man laying with a man is not supposed to happen. You are not gonna do anything but create a messy situation. Right. No life is coming out of two men in one bed. That's you're not getting life out of it. Right. Baba Kashar, can you jump down to 20? And we're going to go to verse 13.
Con. This is Leviticus chapter 20 and verse 13. If a man also lie with mankind, as he lieth with a woman, both of them have committed an abomination.
Right? So you're seeing it right there again, right? A man cannot lay with mankind as he would do with his rib, right? You you like you got to think about the mental state of a man that wants to crawl into a bed with another man and feel a hairy chest. Like, what is going on in that man's mind, right? I want to jump in bed with my rib, and I want to, just like any brother would, you want to feel soft skin. You want to feel the curves of her body, right? You don't want rough hands touching you. You don't want to feel straight muscle, like, right? Like, why would you listen, man? Before I pray that every brother, before you ever decide to do something so heinous as what this verse was talking about, you rather walk into a cell and fight a grizzly bear, right? Because this is damn near the same thing. You might as well just go fight the grizzly bear. You'll be better off.
Salakia.
Con.
And if I could add too, and to all the brothers and sisters out there, who had, some traumatic experience, growing up, from
Right.
their uncle touching them or their aunt touching them, someone in the family, you know what I mean? There's a lot of evils going on. And, you got to find healing from those things. You know what I mean? And like those are hard. Some of those things are hard for our brothers and sisters to do, and that's why it's so heavy with what ISUPK is doing. You know what I
Right.
mean? Because we're healing people of their demons, right? There, homosexuals out there, you guys going out and all those different, committing all those actions. You guys aren't the only ones who need to repent, right? Like all of us were doing some foul things before we came in the UPK, and you know what I mean. And some of those things that you guys went through as kids, you got to heal from that too. Well, Salaki, that's how you say.
Nah. It's Tawab. It's definitely Tawab, man. Like you are definitely right about that, man. Like in ISUPK, we have counselors upon counselors upon counselors for every situation. But specifically, what Officer Shariwan was talking about, for the brothers and sisters who went through tragic experiences when they were young at the hands of some evil, disgusting person in their
Right,
family, in their church, in their school, on their basketball, gymnastics, or any sports team, or anybody that was in authority over you to supposed to be protecting you, and they failed at their job because they're miserable predators. We have counselors for you.
right.
We definitely have counselors for you. Like all you got to do is call a number, send a message. We'll get in contact with the ISUPK, and we'll get you to speak to someone who will help you. That's what we do, right? We got counselors in the school that stay up until 3 in the morning counseling. As soon as one call is finished, the next one starts. Right? Was that the
Right.
end of the verse, Baba Kishar?
Uh, la,
Continue reading, please.
both of them have committed an abomination.
Right.
They shall surely be put to death. Their blood shall be upon them.
Right. So Being a homosexual, a man sleeping with another man, you are definitely going to be put to death at the hands of the Lord.
Right.
Now you might say, like, not every homosexual that's listening right now is saying, "What are you talking about? They've been homosexual for years and they're not dead." Right? You're spiritually dead. Your spirit is dead to the Lord. The Lord is not with you. Right? You probably got coronavirus. You probably got that monster that ravished the black community. You know, that four-letter monster AIDS, or the three-letter one HIV. You probably got a whole bunch of critters swimming around in your bloodstream, right? Over things that might not be curable, right? For that deviant sex that you're having, you will surely be put to death. It might not be today, it might not be tomorrow. There was a point when homosexuals, the Lord was putting homosexuals to death at such a rate. They said that no, 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 this AIDS right here, this is a homosexual disease. You can only get it from being gay. Right? That's what they said. They were saying, like, you can only get it from being gay. So much so that when Magic Johnson, when it came out that he had HIV, everybody was such afraid to even if he had a scratch, like the whole stadium now stopped and everybody held their breath, right? And everyone knows, as a basketball player, you get scratched, you get fouled hard, and there's not a game where someone doesn't bleed, right? So you're definitely gonna be put to death over homosexuality, and the Lord hates homosexuality, right? So yeah, right. So the Lord hates homosexuality so much, He decided to destroy homosexuals, right? Let's get to Baba Kishar. Can you bring me to Genesis 19 and 5?
God. This is the book of Genesis, chapter 19 and verse 5. And they called unto Lot and said unto him, where are the men which came into thee this night? Bring them out unto us, that we may know them.
Right? So there was a point where Abraham pled for his cousin, right? So this pleading, the Lord sent two angels to go warn Lot, to go get him out of Sodom and Gomorrah, right? Sodom and Gomorrah, they were sinning outwardly, where they would just sin and they loved their sins, right? They loved their sins so much, they seen strangers coming to Lot's house. They banged on the door. Yo, what's going on? We're trying to have our way with those men. To know them is to have sex with them. They wanted to rape these men, right? Read verse 6, Baba Kasha.
Con, verse 6. And Lot went out at the door unto them, and shut the door after him. Verse 7. And said, I pray you, brethren, do not so wickedly.
Right? To sleep with a man is a
Do not
Salakia. A man sleeping with a man is
do not so wickedly.
right. The Lord doesn't want two men sleeping with each other. Right? Jump down to verse 9, Baba Kasha.
Con. Verse 9. And they said, stand back. And they said again, this one fellow came into sojourn, and he will needs be a judge. Now will we deal worse with thee than with them. And they pressed sore upon the man, even Lot, and came near to break the door.
Right. So this is the spirit of the homosexual. They want to break down the door, right? Salakia. Once again, General Yohana is live right now. He is battling the Proud Boys. Go tune in, pause this tape, put it on pause for a second, come back. It's not going nowhere. It'll be right here. General Yohana is cutting the heads off of the Proud Boys, the same Proud Boys who stormed the Washington Capitol. Right? Continue reading, Baba Kasha.
Khan. Verse 10. But the men put forth their hand and pulled Lot into the house to them and shut the door.
Oh, Salakia. I thought that was the end of verse 9. You can hold that right there and get me Romans 1 and 24. We're going to get through the rest of these precepts right quick. Right?
Salaki,
So, come on.
what was the verse?
Romans 1 and 24.
24. Khan.
Right? So these blackity Salakia, these Sodomites and the Sodom and Gomorrah, the men of Sodom and Gomorrah, they wanted to rape these men so much they started beating on the door. Right? They sounded like the police when they want to get into your house with no warrant, just beating on the door. Right? Eventually, the angels made the men go blind and they still tried to get inside. Right? Lot even offered up his daughter. His daughters, they did not want the daughters. They wanted the men. Right? It got to a point where Lot was told to get out of the place where he was living. They got out of it. The Lord sent the angels to destroy it. That place is destroyed till now. Where is it? You can't find it. It's in ruins. Right? Just straight rubble. Right? And that let's not ever forget that the Sodom and Gomorrahites, they were Hamites. They come from Ham.
Right.
Right? So let's not forget the first recorded homosexuals. They were Hamites. Hamites are Africans, right? We know the spirit of Ham. Look at gay Egypt, and you can see the spirit, right?
Right.
Our oppressor, they fell in love with Egypt. They took everything that Egypt had to offer, right? From homosexuality to the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans in slavery, right? Uh, Where are we going? You could read Romans 1 and 24.
Khan. This is the book of Romans, chapter 1 and verse 24. Wherefore God also gave them up to uncleanness through the lusts of their own heart, to dishonor their own bodies between themselves. Verse 25. Who changed the truth of God into a lie, and worshiped and served the creature more than the Creator, who is blessed forever. Amen. Verse 26. For this cause God gave them up unto vile affections, for even their woman did change the natural use into that which is against nature.
Right? So that's a lot to unpack right there, right? So our oppressors, they want our sisters not to just they want our sisters to not just kick the man out of the house, not just to be the man of the house. They also want our sisters to be lesbians, right? You ask any oppressor or any Jake in the world, he thinks it's something to wob to want to sleep with two sisters at the same time, right? The fake Jews who run the music industry, they put out the WAP video, and in that video they have two sisters, like a Judite and a Simeonite basically kissing each other, right? Like our sisters should not be lesbians, right? Like it's a good thing for a sister to be feminine. It's a good thing for her to have a man that she has to she takes orders from. A man that protects her, a man that guides her and loves her, a man that's gonna check her and let her know when she's wrong, and is gonna give her the just due praises for when she's doing the things that are right. Right? A sister doesn't get that sleeping with another sister, right? And some sisters, again, they'll be like, they got tired of men, so they went to go find out what the other side of the fence was. The other side of the fence has just as many, if not more, black eyes, broken ribs, and busted lips and broken noses. Right? These Slovakia, the butch sisters who act like men, they be destroying everything. They be scrapping like it's nothing. I don't know if anybody has ever seen two butch sisters fight, but it's a fight that if you look from afar, you'll be like, oh damn, those two dudes are getting it in. Let me go see what's going on. There might be a knockout. Right? Some people find fights entertaining. I don't like to see my brothers and sisters fight. I hate it. I'd rather them come into the school,
Right.
learn the truth, change their ways, and let's go on the corner and fight. Let's go fight the spirit of the oppressor, right? Because our war is spiritual. It's not carnal. You can't fight the man who makes the swords and the guns and who flies the drones. You can't physically fight him. You need a higher power. So they changed the natural use of our sisters to be lesbians, right? They don't want, and here's the crazy part, right? So now the lesbian, she wants your rib. She doesn't want she doesn't want you. She wants your rib, right? And then she goes to the store and go gets the toys, and the toys she goes and buys male anatomy as a toy. So she can use it on herself and the next female. And it's like, wait, why didn't you just go get the man? Right? Because she doesn't want to take orders. She wants to be the man. Her Christian pastor told her she could be the man. She could stand up on the pulpit and teach.
Right.
Right? Can you bring me to 1 Corinthians 6 and 9?
Come. This is the book of First Corinthians, chapter 6 and verse 9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind.
Right? So you're seeing it right there. One second, let me catch up with you right quick. We're gonna go over the time just a little, right? We're gonna go over at 10 o'clock just a little, but we're gonna finish this out. What did I ask for? 6 and 9. So okay, I'll come catching up with you one moment.
Con, what's what?
Read that one more time.
Con, verse 9. Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate.
Right? Nor homosexuals. Like you cannot be a homosexual and think that you're coming into the kingdom of the Lord, right? Read that one more time.
Know ye not,
Read from nor idolaters.
Con,
Salakia,
nor
Salakia. Read from fornicators.
Con, no sweat. Neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with men.
Right? So that's letting you know, like, you abuse yourself, two men sleeping with each other, two women laying down in the same bed and sticking objects inside of each other, a man that wears a dress and paints his nails, you're not seeing the kingdom of God.
Right.
Right? It's that clear. You can't get around it, right? This is what they want. They want us to be effeminate. What effeminates don't get to see the kingdom of the Most High, right? Read verse 10.
Con, verse 10. Nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, Salakia, nor revelers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God.
Right? So you're seeing it right there that you're not gonna get to inherit the kingdom of God, right? It's just not gonna happen. The Most High is not that. He's not a punk like that where you think that because where's the rest of this? The Most High is not gonna let you just do what you want, right? Can you like another part of our topic is when they're not trying to make black men into homosexuals, they're trying to make black women, Native American women, Hispanic women into they're trying to make them into whores,
Right.
right? That's their goal. That's their big end game. Like the sisters they become whores while the men they become they become homosexual, right? Give me one moment. Baba Kasha, can you get me what do I want? Get me First Timothy 2:9.
Con. This is First Timothy chapter 2 and verse 9. In like manner also that women adorn themselves in modest apparel, with shamefacedness and sobriety, not with broided hair or gold or pearls or costly array.
Right? So you want to be in modest apparel, right? You want to wear clothes that's not going to reveal the things that only your husband should see,
Right.
right? I got another picture. This is what Christianity, the mark of the beast, loving the oppressors, our oppressors who push homosexuality. This is the result of what they push on our community, right? So you're gonna see an effeminate man, right? Salakia. Some people aren't gonna like this because, like, this brother he makes some music. He makes some pretty good music, and like I can't lie, his tunes be jumping, but the what he's doing and what he allows his rib to do and the things that she teaches our daughters, it's just not good for us. It's not good for us at all. And you can just see it. Like she's not wearing modest apparel. There's nothing modest about what she's choosing to wear right now, right? So I need this screen share one more t- one more time.
Salakia, if I may.
Khan, go for it.
Khan, there's like just as you're saying, just to touch on some things. Like it's so heavy in everything you're bringing out in that like there's a real attack on the family unit of the Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian household. You know what I mean? Like
Right,
they're like you said, the weapons of our warfare aren't carnal, right? We're wrestling with principalities and governments and you know what I mean, like rulers in high places, and there's such an attack on the household just in general, right? And in the ISUPK, we're trying to fix brotherhood, we're trying to fix sisterhood, we're trying to fix like the family unit, the family structure. You know what I mean? So that we can build and become a strong nation. And all these things that you're bringing out tonight, like this is exactly what destroys a family unit. You know what I mean?
right. Like this is what destroys a family unit. Now look at this family unit that's in the world. This family unit's destroyed, right? This sister, this is Cardi B. She has a 1-2 songs that were popular, right? She's still making music. Her songs tell sisters to be whores, right?
Right.
She the funniest thing that I seen was like this brother, he like sometimes this couple they have a little bit of sense, just a smidge, just a dash, right? She came out with the song that this brother wrote, and in the song it said she don't cook, she don't clean. Then she proceeded to say she's gonna show you how she got that ring, and everything else was sexual, right? This brother, now I don't know if he was getting like his friends were calling him, and you know how black men do. We'll punk you sometimes and let you know about it. You have your wife moving like that. He decided to put up a video of her sweeping the house. Right? She was lying. She cooks and she cleans, but
Right.
she still doesn't dress modestly. She has a past just like everyone does, but she's not dressing modestly. Right? And Salakia. Good night. Look at the brother. Look at what the brother is wearing. The brother is wearing something out of Elton John's closet.
Right.
Salakia, I'll be right back. 1 second. Uh, can you jump to Job 9:24, and you could read that and break that down. I'll be back in 1 second. I gotta get my charger.
John. So this is the book of Job, chapter 9 and verse 24. It reads, "The earth is given into the hand of the wicked. He covereth the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he?" Right? Like the scriptures say the earth was given into the hand of the wicked. Right? We know who the wicked are today, right? You just see who's ruling the earth. You know what I mean?
Right,
Like you can see this kingdom and how it's moving, right? These the scriptures tell us that these are wicked people. You know what I mean?
right,
It says he covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? Right? Like this empire that we're in today, right? These Edomites that are ruling over us, right? They're changing the faces of the colors of all our prophets. You know what I mean? Like they're painting their faces to be white, man. They're painting Moses to be white. They're painting Christ to be white. You know what I mean? They're changing and hiding who they really are. You know what I mean? And that's
Right.
such an evil thing to do to people that you enslaved and are oppressing. You know what I mean? Like these wicked rulers, they haven't given us our identity. They stole us. They know who we are, and they lie on our history. Right? So Salak, that was it for the verse.
Con, throughout. We got a couple more verses. Actually, we got one more. Right? Can you bring me to First Maccabees 14:9?
Come.
Right? So we're going to read First Maccabees and 9. Now we just seen offset of the Migos in the tightest leather pants I've ever seen, and a sequin shirt that made Elton John proud. Right? Like you would have thought that that brother was a backup dancer for the rock band Queen. Right? He looks like he came from Broadway, a Cats production on Broadway. Like that's what they push. And then to icing out the cake, right? Our oppressors know that blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we love jewelry. We love jewelry, and it's not even that we love jewelry. We just like to look good. We know the things that make us look good. Majority of the world's swag, if it's not created by black people, it's created by some homosexual Edomite, and then black people wear it enough, and now it's popular. We make the world's culture popular, right? Like I guarantee you, if okay, here's another example, right? Some people might not understand this. Wu-Tang Clan. Actually, you know what? That is too old. Let's see what is more relevant to today's times, right? So a Fendi belt, right? It's just a belt with two F's. Not everybody like this. Not it's not even like a pretty belt buckle. It's just a belt with two F's that are opposite sides. A black man, he gets some Gucci pants. He gets some ball mains, right? Throws on those ball mains, puts that Fendi belt through the ball mains, and he sags it just under his rear end, which is mad effeminate, right? A man sagging his pants in the federal system meant that that was another man's bitch. Salaki, excuse my French. Someone was taking his manhood in the night when he sagged his pants. It was letting the world know, the prison world know, that that man is spoken for. You cannot rape him. Now, brothers do this outside and act like it's swag, like it's drip. They take their pants and hang it below their waist, put on a Gucci belt, and now the whole world, every Edomite boy wants to wear a Gucci belt and sag his pants below his waist, right? They use black men to push their agenda, right? That's not like what you seen Offset wearing. That's not what we were supposed to be wearing. That's not the clothes the Most High wanted us wearing, right? So let me find 1 second. So Okay, can you drop the sign out link?
Con, what's up?
Right, this is the last one that we're going to be going into. Right? The Most High wanted us in warlike apparels, right? You see these spikes. You see when my brother is wearing that black headband. Wait until you see us at camp, right? All fringes and with our garments on. That's how the Most High wanted us to wear. That's how He wanted us to dress. He wanted us to dress like we're going to war, right? When they give you the description of Christ in Revelation, He has on a war belt, a golden gird, right? A golden girdle. So if anybody was trying to stab him, it was not happening, right? No one could thrust a sword through his stomach because he had on a golden war belt, right? I'm gonna show you something again. If you just ate, you might want to look away so you don't throw up because this is totally disgusting. When I see this image, it's hard to keep my food in my stomach, but because I'm a warrior and General Yohanna made us strong, I'm able to look at these images and bring it out to the people. The in the life of a priest, he's gonna look at 1,000 images that are just totally wrong. That it's gonna upset his soul. He's gonna have to watch a brother get murdered on tape, and he's gonna have to watch it and watch the whole tape through and break it down and analyze it and tell the people about it because that's his job. He's a watchman. We're supposed to tell our people about the things, right, that we do. Now, there was a song called Old Town Road. It was a black boy who was trying to sing country, and the song was doing numbers. It was pretty popular, right? The kicker is when this boy came out and started to make music, every white man said, no, you cannot take country music. First off, country music is always going to sound better when it's sung by the black folks who created it, right? Next, when that fame and hype died down, it's like he wanted to keep the fame and the hype. Until this day, I think he's just doing it just for the fame, right? He's just a sucker. That's all I think it is. He's doing it for the fame. Or he might just be an effeminate homosexual. Either way, he's a homosexual. But is he a homosexual by choice or is he doing it for money? Right? So I'm going to show you something right quick. Share screen. Right? Most of you already know who this is. This is Little Nas X. Right? He is all fish. Right? This is not warlike apparel that the Most High wanted us to wear. Baba Kishah, do you have that scripture?
Cons. Slaki, was it chapter 1 or chapter 4?
Chapter 14, verse 9.
14. Slaki. This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 14 and verse 9. The ancient men sat all in the streets, communing together of good things, and the young men put on glorious and warlike apparel.
Nah, they put on pink leather.
Warlike apparel.
Right? So the men of old, they would sit in the streets just like brothers do now. They be on the corners, they be in the barber shops, they be outside in the park, just kicking, chilling, right? Kicking the shits and just be talking, holding counsel. They be counseling with each other, right? Read that last part where after commune,
Con. And the young men put on glorious and warlike apparel.
right? They put on glorious and warlike apparel, leather, black leather with fringes, right? With studs, with war belts. They had swords and their Bibles with them, right? They were going home to their families after. They wore glorious warlike apparel. This is not glorious warlike apparel. This is not, and look, for the first the country, okay, before we continue, I'm about to wrap this up just now. The Grammys is fake. Like if you don't know, the Grammys is fake. You don't win a Grammy based off your album, right? I'm not even sure if Jay-Z won a Grammy yet. He's been in the game over 20 years and he's made classic hip hop albums. Like if you like hip hop, you can't say that you're not a fan of Jay-Z. Some people aren't, hey, that's on you, right? But he's made classic albums and he's been snubbed by the Grammys for a long time. It just came out a female who was the head of the Grammys. She worked in the upper echelon part of the Grammys, the decision makers. She came out and she basically said, "Yeah, this is fake. We basically decide who we want based off like whoever we feel at the time or what they're doing for us." Right? So you can see it that this brother he got a Grammy once he came out he was and said he was gay.
Salaki.
Right? Khan.
And there was that other sister, Holly Berry.
Khan.
I think she had done a ton of movies. Didn't get nothing, and then she came up
Oh,
with a
good
movie where
man.
she sleeps with she gets half naked, sleeps with somebody, and all of a sudden you want to
Salakia.
get a Grammy for being half naked.
Right. That movie is Monster Ball. She
Uh,
slept with Billy Bob Thornton in that movie. And she didn't just sleep with him in the movie. They're saying that sex scene was real, right? They're saying that sex scene was totally real. It wasn't the fake where everyone's naked, but they have like this little plastic thing that goes over your private parts, and then you go through the motions of that sex scene,
right.
right? They're saying that they really had sex, and like Jadakiss, he put out a rapper named Jadakiss. He put out a song like years back, a song called "Why," and in that song he asks, "Why did Holly Berry have to let a white man pop her to get an Oscar?" Right? That this is what they want. They want our sons to be not warriors. They don't want us to fight for our people. Now I'm gonna get this disgusting picture off of our screen because we don't need it there. Read that one more time for me, Baba Kashaw.
Khan. Verse 9. The ancient men sat all in the streets, communing together of good things, and the young men put on glorious and warlike apparel.
Uh, glorious warlike apparel, right? So that's what happens, right? The brothers, we wear godly warlike apparel, right? It's glorious in the sight of the Most High. That brother wearing pink was not glorious in the sight of the Most High, right? So with that said, I'm Officer of 50 Zabaja. With me, I got Officer 50 Sharyuan. We are the I.S.U.P.K under Commanding General YAHANNA. We'll be right back again. Tune in again next week. If you haven't already gone to go watch Commanding General YAHANNA He's cutting up the Proud Boys right now as we speak, right? I'm gonna read the security announcements, and give a quick courtesy salute to the brothers and sisters watching. Again, to Water for tuning in. We'll be back at it again. Monday night, we got a history class going on this channel again, 7 p.m.
No sign Christ.
Right? Slovakia, 1 second. Give me one moment. We are the I.S.U.P.K, started out of 1 West, 125th Street, Harlem, New York. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are here to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the Salakia. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. If they need transportation, the teacher will arrange it. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to the brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which the brother and sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother and sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment, Numbers 18 and 21, Malachi 3 verses 8 to 10. Ma'ashara, which means 10, in Hebrew, 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, give to the Treasury Department. Priest fund, free will offering for priests, not mandatory, whatsoever amount you would like. Up and coming holy convocations. The next up and coming holy convocation is the Passover. Thursday, April 22nd. We have the slaughter of the lamb. That's going to be in Houston, Texas. The address is 9022 Puritan Way in Roshan, Texas. That's going to be going on from 1 p.m. to 7 p.m. The Friday night, we have the pre-Manchus party. It starts until 6 p.m. That's all the events are going to be in Houston, Texas. The Passover weekend in Texas. Saturday is the Passover, April 24th. It's going to be at 14149 Player Street. Sunday is the Feast of Unleavened Bread. It's going to be at 14149 Player Street as well in Houston, Texas, is right where the Passover was held. If you need any information on the Passover, contact your camp leader. Our camp leader is Officer 5000 Abon. You can find him on Instagram, Abon UPK, or Abon UPK on Facebook. You can email ISUPKCanada@gmail.com, or check out Salakia. Check us out, I.S.U.P.K. Canada, on Facebook and Instagram. A reminder to anyone who wants reminder to Akim and Aquakim to check the ISUPK.com website for any up and coming information on events. If anybody wants to be a trooper in the school, start wearing all black, boots, shirts, pants, and headband. Again, if you're looking for information on a school in your zone, just go on ISUPK.com, check for schools in your zone. You can get the number, and whoever you call the number and talk to the brother that picks up. With that said, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the brothers, then a courtesy salute to the sisters. Men of Israel, I imagine. I imagine Shabbat. Barak. I imagine Barak. Yahweh Hashem Yahushai Barakatah. Yadam Atah, which means hands down. Men of Israel, we're going to give a courtesy salute to the sisters. Amajim Shabbat. Imajim. Barak. Yahweh Shemai Alathaba Hashem Yahushua. Yadi Matah. Class dismissed.